The world awoke to horrifying news, a tragedy that has shaken the very core of humanity. A school, a place where children should feel safe and learn. A mosque, a sanctuary for prayer and peace. These places of learning and worship have been reduced to mere rubble, their sanctity violated. In Gaza, the streets are filled not with the laughter of children, but with the cries of the bereaved. The air is heavy with sorrow and despair. Over 90 Palestinians, many of whom were seeking refuge from the ongoing conflict, have lost their lives. Innocent lives caught in the crossfire. The air is thick with smoke and the stench of death, a grim reminder of the violence that has unfolded. Rescuers, their faces grim and determined, search frantically for survivors amidst the debris. Every second counts. Each passing moment dims the hope of finding anyone alive, yet they persist, driven by the faintest glimmer of hope. This is not just a statistic, this is a human tragedy of immense proportions. These are human lives, tragically cut short. Families torn apart, dreams shattered, futures erased. The pain is palpable, the loss immeasurable. In the heart of Gaza, schools and mosques have become more than just places of learning and prayer. They are sanctuaries. With their homes under threat, families flee to these supposed safe havens, desperate for protection. The Al-Tabaeen school, once filled with the promise of education, now echoes with the emptiness of tragedy. The mosque, a place of solace and spiritual guidance, now stands as a monument to the brutal reality of war. It was during the sanctity of dawn prayers that the first explosions ripped through the morning air. The mosque, crowded with worshippers, trembled under the force of the blast. At the school, families huddled together, seeking what little comfort they could find when the world came crashing down. Eyewitness accounts paint a picture of unimaginable terror, parents shielding their children with their own bodies, the desperate scramble for safety amidst the collapsing walls, and the deafening roar of destruction. Section 4. A World Reacts. In the wake of the recent attacks on Gaza, the world stands united in its response. The airwaves are filled with breaking news, and the streets are alive with the voices of those demanding change. From the United Nations to capitals around the world, there is a collective sense of outrage. Protests erupt in major cities, with people from all walks of life coming together to voice their discontent and call for an end to the violence. Condemnation for the attacks is swift and unequivocal. Leaders from every corner of the globe step forward, their voices resonating with a shared sense of urgency and moral responsibility. World leaders call for an immediate ceasefire, their words heavy with the weight of countless broken promises. They speak not just to their own nations, but to the world, urging for a halt to the bloodshed and a return to dialogue. Human rights organizations, their voices hoarse from years of pleading for peace, decry the escalating violence. They remind us of the human cost, the lives lost, and the families torn apart by this relentless conflict. But amidst the diplomatic pronouncements and the calls for restraint, the question remains: will this tragedy be the turning point, or just another chapter in a seemingly endless cycle of violence? The world watches, waits, and hopes for a resolution that has eluded us for far too long. Section 5. Lost lives, broken dreams. In the midst of chaos and destruction, we often forget the individual stories that make up the staggering statistics. Behind the staggering numbers, there are real people. Each face in the crowd tells a story of loss, of dreams shattered, and of lives forever changed. A young teacher, her dreams of shaping young minds buried under the rubble. She had plans, hopes, and aspirations all cut short in an instant. A father who just hours before was comforting his frightened children, now gone. His laughter, his guidance, and his love, now just memories for his family to hold on to. Their stories, each one a testament to the human cost of this conflict, must be told. These are not just numbers, but lives with dreams and futures that have been stolen. The world needs to hear their names, to see their faces, to understand that these are not just casualties of war, but irreplaceable lives lost. Each name on the memorial wall represents a unique story, a life that mattered, and a future that will never be realized. Section 6. A Plea for Peace. In the face of such unimaginable suffering, we cannot remain silent. The cycle of violence must end. Too many lives have been lost, too many futures shattered. The time for action is now. We must demand accountability. We must push for a just and lasting peace. And most importantly, we must never forget the victims. Their memory and the hope for a better future must fuel our commitment to peace.